Hello, Mr. Bagaria. It's nice to meet you. My name is Chunyin Leong, and I hail from Malaysia. Currently, I'm a first-year student studying at University College London. So I started my study last year, September, and it's really fortunate to have this interview with you. So about your questions, I'm a student of physics, and my degree progresses from the Bachelor of Science to the Masters of Science. So I've taken a real interest in this course because physics is a study of nature, to be honest. You can quantify the behavior of nature using equations and formulae. So, as I understand, the American education emphasizes a lot on extracurricular activities. And to be honest, I took the SAT before entering university. Now, outside of the class, I spent a lot of time on extracurricular activities, like learning French and Japanese. Besides that, I also take an interest in martial arts, such as wushu in high school, and now I do fencing, which is quite cool actually. Right now, I'm quite busy practicing for the Michael Jackson dance performance, which will be held next month. And it's been quite enjoyable right now. Right. Proceeding to your next question, which is why do you want to attend HPAIR? Well, honestly, I first heard of HPAIR through my senior in high school, Elisha, who is really fortunate and she is currently attending Harvard right now. To be honest, she was one of the committee members of HPAIR last year and she organized an HPAIR conference in Manila, the Philippines. Even though I didn't have the opportunity to attend the one in Philippines, I plan to attend this HPAIR at Harvard. That's basically how I knew about HPAIR. Besides that, I had been participating consecutively for 2 years in Asia Leadership Track organized by Harvard University back in my hometown, Malaysia. So this track was basically about learning leadership and negotiation. So having attended these important conferences, I'm confident that I'll be able to manage the challenges that I'll face in HPAIR this year. Much like the Model United Nations conferences that I attended several times, this HPAIR focuses on solving problems, which is what I'm doing right now in several Model United Nations conferences. Take, for example, the recent MUN conference that I joined was CUIMAN, or Cambridge University International Model United Nations Conference held in Cambridge University. So the topics that I dealt with was Paris Climate Accord, and the other one was dealing with natural disaster relief, which I believe is one of the topics that HPAIR will have this year. So the other thing that's immediately relevant to me is that Malaysia is strategically located at the heart of Southeast Asia. And Southeast Asia, as you might know, is an important region for trade and commerce. And on the other hand, this region is also under threat from North Korea's nuclear weapons. Besides that, China is also having island dispute in the South China Sea, which separates Malaysia. As you might know, Malaysia is separated by this sea into the western part and the eastern part. So I would like to join the challenge of accepting ideas from intellectuals at HPAIR and bring back the ideas so that I can share the ideas with my country people, especially the politicians, so that they can better manage these conflicts over the decades. Now, it's important to find solutions to these problems because having attained this level of education, I feel that I have a responsibility to serve my nation and my parents as well. Now, back to your next question, which is what particularly interests me about my current track preference. So I'd like to say that I'm at the heart of Brexit. And one interesting fact is that I found that people here in London did not particularly like the idea of quitting the European Union. And most people in the outer skirts around the regions outside the city voted for Brexit. And this is quite analogous to what happened in the US because most people living in the cities in the US prefer to have another candidate as the president. So I'm trying to be as objective here as possible politically because people have different opinions. So I chose this track because I attended a TPP talk or the Trans-Pacific Partnership talk, which featured a US ambassador. So I learned more about TPP right now because this partnership actually includes Malaysia as one of the partners. So if the US were to quit this partnership, China, in high possibility, will join the TPP. And as a result, countries in the TPP will tend to care more and look in favor of China. So this track is particularly important to me because Malaysia is immediately relevant to this issue at hand. And to another topic, which is human resources, or HR in short. So employees form a culture in companies, and that is actually very crucial in helping the company grow and helping the employees grow as well. So it's a very interesting topic because take a look at Google. How does it become so successful? It's because of the employees that make this company a great success. So I would like to dive deep into this topic and share my ideas with intellectuals at Harvard and bring back these ideas to my own country. So your next question is, play the role of an organizing committee member. If you had to create a panel, what would the topic be? So after much rumination, I came out with the topic called Political and Economic Equilibrium Around the World. Come to think of it, you might have observed that the world is constantly under change because back in the 19th century, the UK was the greatest superpower in the world, conquering several nations, and that's why it never sees the sun set around the world. And after that, after the Russians sent rockets into space, the Americans started to begin what is called the space race, and subsequently its technology has become increasingly sophisticated and the world acknowledged its military might. And however, there's a pattern appearing right now. China is an emerging giant economically and politically. So, what exactly resulted in this change? This is what we're interested in studying about. So, there are two keynote speakers that I would recommend. One is Kenneth Arrow. Well, I know it's impossible to bring the dead back to life, but it would be an interesting hypothetical case if he were to be alive, because it so happened that when I thought about this topic of equilibrium, I found out about this economist who proposed the general equilibrium theory. And the other economist or speaker would be Lawrence Summers, who was the 27th Harvard president and the former chief economist at the World Bank. And I believe that these two economists will provide very deep insight into why the world economy is currently changing relentlessly. So I thought of recommending a third keynote speaker who originates from Asia, which is quite relevant to HPAIR. However, I believe that these two speakers are related in terms of the bloodline and lineage. So I would definitely recommend these two speakers at HPAIR if I were to conduct a panel. It's very nice to meet you, Mr. Bagheria. I hope you consider my application, and see you, and thank you for your time for reviewing my video. Thank you very much.